Yeah, allow me to just sort of last minute bits and bobs. So, as you finished the last session, you um, you want to get rid of this creature. I think this has
Mhm.
probably been one of the fights that's really kind of kicked your ass the most in
Mhm.
terms of it popping in and popping out. Um, how are you feeling as you're kind of about to like it's about to escape one more time? How do you think Free is kind of feeling?
I think um, he's feeling kind of defeated because in the past couple days, hours,
Mm-hmm.
she's felt so much immense power,
Mm.
and now to be like on her ass so quickly, she's a bit defeated about that.
Okay. So do you think Free would be kind of looking for power, searching for power in that moment?
Yes, yeah, kind of like desperately.
As you desperately reach out for power, um, Free, you feel yourself unleash the Eldritch Blasts. Now, obviously, like I said, you're kind of you've grown accustomed to this at this point. Um, you feel yourself unleash those blasts, and you're desperately searching for power, for a little bit more. This far away from the city, your magic has been tenuous at best. It's not been what you've been used to. It's been very difficult to grasp, but you felt more and more in tune with it as sort of things have gone on, as life has sort of like gone on. You're getting more and more in tune with your power. As you unleashed those three Eldritch Blasts, a little bit defeated, but yearning for more power, you suddenly begin to feel sort of deep inside of you. You sort of squeeze out power that you didn't know you had. And suddenly, your magic, which you felt more and more in tune with, suddenly feels extremely alien as the pink discs of eldritch energy that leave your hand suddenly become dyed with grey, the heavy grey of thunderclouds.
Hmm.
And you notice that they begin to smell of burnt metal as they slam into the enemy, destroying the enemy, which is the last thing you see as you are overwhelmed with a sensation of destruction and violence, and then suddenly you are like the sensation you get in your stomach where like the plane takes off, that kind of like sinking moving feeling of you being falling or moving or being moved and all at once and separate at the same time, almost being kind of dragged wrist first through space, but space kind of implies not space in terms of like the void, but you're kind of moving through distance.
Hmm.
Um, and then suddenly you are not in the place that you were. Um, I'm going to need a perception and an insight to check you.
Okay.
And I don't have D&D Beyond up, so you might have to just read them out to me.
Yeah. Perception is 15, and what was the other one? Insight.
Perception and insight. So 15.
Insight. It was a 20.
Whoa, that's very, very good. Oh, that's very, very good, actually.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, interesting. Okay, important. As soon as your feet land, you take a breath you smell familiarity. And as soon as your eyes look, you notice that you are in a familiar hallway. You are in the entranceway to your childhood home. Before all of the events that happened. And I think with that 20, you know that, like, you make a kind of quick check and you're like, okay, I was pulled here, but it's almost like something just wanted like my kind of spirit to be here, but you know that your whole body is here. Like this isn't like a dream or like something in your head. Like you are very much physically in this space. And it's almost like you being here, like there's this weird kind of sensation of like rejecting your like physicality almost. And like a very faint suggestion of kind of worry. You are, as I said, in the hallway of your childhood home. Before your eyes are familiar walls. What colour are the walls?
They are like an egg white.
Okay.
It's a very like pale house.
Okay. So eggshell white.
Yeah.
And like I said, familiar. On the I mean, it would be difficult for you to make like a kind of like 100% suggestion of when this is. This very much feels like your home when you were a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Eggshell white walls greet you. What colour is the carpet in your childhood home?
Like a beige color.
Okay. So like beige carpet, eggshell white walls, greeting you. You see stretching out before you is the hallway. Ahead and just sort of to the left is the door that leads to the kind of living room, front room. It's a small kind of like well-contained home. At the end of this hallway is the stairway that leads up to your the bedrooms, and then off to the just before the stairway and off to the left is the kitchen. And as you're kind of thinking of, that's the door that used to lead to the kitchen, you get a really strong scent of like home cooked food. Home cooked food that you have not tasted in a long time. I want you to make a quick wisdom save, please.
Anyone.
Oh, yes, we're cooking with gas. I think also based on that insight check, you're smelling this. You're based on the fact that you got a nat 20 with the insight check. I will tell you right now that your like mind is telling you that you're smelling the smell of like home cooking, but your body is like, I'm not smelling this thing. Like you're smelling it even when you're not breathing in. Like it's a sensation rather than a physical thing that is there. What do you want to do? Behind you is the front door, ahead of you are the stairs, and then there are the front room.
I want to go up the stairs and see who's home.
Okay. As you move along the corridor, you see on the walls family photos. You know, pictures of your mum and your dad. You, some awkward family photos of a like much older woman, sort of like sitting down. In her lap is a sort of 8-year-old, 9-year-old, free. Two sort of late 30s, early 40s parents, kind of standing quite proudly behind, and an older brother in a kind of ill-fitting sort of formal clothes is kind of rictus grin, and the person who looks happiest in the photo is the sort of grandmother figure, and you.
Hmm.
What do your parents look like in this photo?
As in expression-wise,
A little bit, yeah. Just how do you think they're kind of feeling in this photo?
I feel like since it was so long ago, it's when they were still very happy. So, a little awkward, but also like very happy to be taking the photo with the family.
Okay. As you move forward, seeing those photos, seeing, general kind of the clutter on the walls that makes a house a home, you approach the stairs. As you look up towards the top of the stairs, they are shrouded in inky darkness, like void. As you pass, sort of getting closer to those stairs, you notice that the door to the living room and to the kitchen are both ajar. And you can hear the sounds of cooking in the kitchen. What are you doing?
I think Bree remembers that the parents are always the ones doing the cooking. So, and she does not want to see them, so she's going to continue going upstairs.
You walk up the stairs, and then your foot reaches out for the top step, and you find yourself at the start of the front entrance to your house, back where you were when you first arrived.
Okay, knowing that Free is very stubborn, and probably also very scared, she's still going to try once more to go up the stairs, even if it doesn't work.
Okay. If you'd like to make a check, you tell
Hmm.
me what you want to what you're going to use, what skill and why, and I'll let you make a check. Do you want to make a check at this point?
Oh wait, this is does Free like? Do I still have like all my regular powers
You have
at this
all
point?
you are physically present in this place. So this
Okay.
is like as like from where you were at the end of last session, you are instantly here.
Hmm.
At the same number of spell slots, number of hit points, but all the same skills. Everything is exactly as it was. You're even like if you look down, you're even wearing your same clothes, and from your like height, you can tell that you are like an adult.
Hmm. Um. hmm, I'm thinking. I think Free might try to use flight to try and go up the stairs that way, and also just to like hover.
Um, okay. I will say, as you fly up the stairs, your feet not touching the the wood, not hearing the familiar creaks that you did as you climbed them the first time. You move to the very top and back to the beginning,
Um,
hovering. I think, like I said, make a quick Arcana check there.
It's 16.
You're pretty sure you can't get up there, but maybe it's not because something is stopping you from trying to get up that second floor.
Mhm.
Like, I think you're kind of getting the vibe of like this is like its own space, if you see what I mean. Like you've obviously moved between sort of like the world beneath, like you've kind of moved to the world between the cracks before. Like you've been to like different kind of planes of existence, and I think this is giving you a similar vibe to that kind of like almost like it's a different plane.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing?
Um, Wait, I think I have a spell that lets me see through walls. I can't remember if I do.
You do have an ability to see through walls, I'm almost certain.
Yeah, I think I used it last time, so I don't know if I can use it again. If I can find it.
If you've got it, then that it would be quite cool.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just sort this out.
Oh, I've already used it, so and there's not been a short rest, so I can't right now.
Okay.
In that case, I think Pree's gonna bite the bullet and very slowly go towards the kitchen.
You walk past the open door to the living room. There's like, I guess, kind of like a warm kind of orange glow behind the door, but no noise as such. As you step forward and head to enter the kitchen. As you enter the kitchen, like even just standing in the doorway is enough for you to like get real sort of heavy nostalgia. Like you can absolutely smell like the distinct smells of fresh ground spices. This is like very much like things that are cooked slowly so that they like fill the whole house, and then you kind of like step into the kitchen, you're like hit with this like blast of just smells of deliciousness, and you can kind of almost like feel yourself salivating and getting a bit hungry, with this like smell so kind of rich and delicious, it's almost physical. You see a standing back to you at the stove, on the opposite side of the room is a familiar broad back, not looking at you, stirring a like a huge kind of like cast iron pot, very sort of like faint humming, and you can just see that kind of like around the waist is the like garishly coloured tie-off of what was the kind of like the apron that had been bought as a joke for your dad, but he like insisted on wearing, as he sits there and cooks. Doesn't turn around just yet. I'm going to say very quickly, I want you to make a quick insight check. I'll say because you have already rolled really well, I'll let this one be with advantage because of that nat 20.
Okay, good. 'Cause I need it. Those were both bad.
Okay.
8.
Okay. It looks like your dad cooking.
Good to know.
You know, familiar smells. What's he cooking, do you think? What's the kind of thing that your dad made all the time?
Stir-fried rice.
Stir-fried rice. Your dad's signature dish, and you can smell it as you enter into the kitchen. He doesn't seem to have noticed you.
I am. Are there windows in the kitchen? Can I see out them?
So the way your kitchen is kind of set up,
Yeah.
if you want to go and roll 20, actually,
Actually, yeah. Let me do that.
I can show you the kind of very rough, floor plan that is kind of what the downstairs looks like, which you should be able to see. And I will just very quickly put a token for your dad. Why is that there? That's not right. 1 second. Where's that? Okay, cool. I just need. Jesus. Are you able to see it?
I see it. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
your dad is kind of. I'm just gonna put like a little box down because for some reason I was like, I have planned everything apart from you actually just like walking through a door. So that red kind of circle on the map,
Yeah.
that's kind of where your dad is currently stirring the pot. You can see kind of this like grey line, I guess, doesn't really exist. It's just like a little step down to where the dining room is, which kind of like opens onto these double doors. So you can kind of see that there are some like double doors not open at the moment, and there's like a window over by the sink, and a little couple of windows off to the side. What are you looking for?
Wait. Sorry, I'm trying to scroll and look at this. Oh wait, does the window overlook the garden?
In your memory, yes.
Can I just see if there is anyone in the garden?
What's your passive perception again? I think it's a 10, right? Yeah, 10. 10 is
yes.
10 is enough for you to not see. So the other side of the windows and those sort of like double doors, the same inky blackness that was at the top of the stairs.
Oh, okay.
Like nothing kind of exists beyond parts of this house.
Mm-hmm. I think, okay. Can Free go into the dining room?
You can.
Okay.
Gonna
do that. Does not want to speak to her dad right now.
As you move past, without turning around, you just hear the figure at the kind of the stove just say, 5 minutes.
Okay.
You move to the dining room. As you're kind of in this dining room, it's, you're quite lucky in a way that your house has had this, but this was always like a really important place for your family to have, like a kind of like big communal kind of dining area. Your parents loved kind of entertaining guests. So there's this real love for food and like eating and breaking bread together. So you're kind of used to being in this room. There's like a nice kind of renovated, like slightly botched together oak table, that your mum like really wanted, and your dad basically like was like, well, it'll be difficult for me to like, you know, buy this thing, so I'll get all the bits and make it myself. Not like IKEA style, but like, you know, actually building it from the ground up. And it's a bit like wonky and a bit kind of battered, but is very kind of treasured memory. Um, you can see familiarity. If it wasn't for the void outside, this would be your childhood home. You can see like, you know, scratchings and carvings out on the table, and that stain from that like one time that you were painting things on the table and it all went everywhere. Um, very familiar, but eerily so. Like we're still kind of running off of that Nat 20 insight in that eerie. Like nothing is this perfectly preserved.
Mhm.
But this is the place you remember.
And there's no one there.
No one is here. Just your dad in the kitchen cooking away. You can hear the hissing of frying food.
Is there a clock anywhere? Can I see what the time is?
Very clever. There is a clock. So that like grey kind of bar that's across between the kitchen and the dining room is like a little drop down bit. And there's like a little kind of like lintel above it.
Yeah.
Like a beam kind of above it. There is a clock hanging on there. The clock is like the face of the clock is blurred. Like you can't make out what the time is. I'm going to say that lets you make another quick insight check.
It's a 5.
After a while, you're kind of like, eh. I will say you do have your phone on you.
Okay, is that working here?
You don't have any signal, but if you kind of were to estimate, it looks like it's the same time that you came in. Like it still says kind of like the same like date and time as when you kind of were at the house, roughly. It was hard for you to kind of work out exactly because you weren't looking at your phone when you were having like a fight for your life, but seems about right.
Okay, I think it feels like the only option for free is to speak to her dad, so she's gonna try that.
As you step back into the kitchen.
Wait, sorry.
Yeah?
As you know, I don't know if I've said that too late. I know she could do minor illusion, so I'm wondering, like, does 3 want to change back into her her child self, like the age that she thinks she was during this time? As you know, I don't know if that's minor illusion or if that's change appearance. Disguise self,
Disguise
sorry.
self.
I'm getting my spells mixed up.
Yeah, disguise self would be the one.
Yeah.
You can if you want to do something along that line. It's up to you.
This doesn't use a spell slot, so why not?
You transform yourself. Obviously, you can only make kind of minor adjustments, so you're a slightly taller version of the younger you. As you step into the kitchen, your dad turns around. Familiar plates piled high with familiarly kind of like not well presented food, but like delicious food. Like no points for style, but 10 points for flavor. As you kind of like sit at the little kind of like mini table that was by the door. That was always where like you ate when it was just like a couple of you and you weren't entertaining guests. Your dad puts some fried rice in front of you, or sort of a place for the table for you. Fork sort of stuck inside of it already, and puts down another one for himself, and then pulls out a chair and sits down. As he does, he looks at you, and it looks like your dad. It looks exactly like your dad looked when you were 8 years old. I mean, he could have walked out of that photo in the hallway. That same kind of slightly awkward but happy smile. He looks at you and says, oh, you don't need to pretend to be anybody else. You're home.
Bree just immediately starts crying.
As you're crying, you just see kind of like pushed over towards you a box of tissues. Like he's not kind of like getting up, almost like a very, in the way that dads would sometimes be, of like, I want to, comfort you, but don't quite know how, so I'll do little things. More actions than kind of words. As he's kind of sat opposite you. It's good to see you. You know, we've been waiting to see you for so long.
I think Bree would still crying, but like trying not to like start apologizing for everything that's happened.
You don't need to apologize. You never did anything wrong. But would have been nice to see you sooner. And look at you, grown so much. So strong now. Such a shame to see you crying. Look at you, all grown up. Starts just sort of taking a couple of bites, giving you time, giving you space. I want you to roll a quick insight check.
12.
I mean, it is your dad, obviously. But in the same way as like when you smelled stuff, you weren't smelling it with your nose. I think you taste the fried rice, and it tastes exactly like your dad's fried rice, which is weird because your dad was like a good cook, but like very one of those people who never follows a recipe. Like he never made it the same way twice. So it's weird that it tastes exactly like you remember your dad's cooking tasting like.
Mm.
What are you doing?
Mm. I think Bree's just gonna ask like, or say that, not that it's not good to see you, but what is this and where are we? This isn't home.
Not quite. We've been stuck inside the keychain. This is where we found ourselves. Not alive, not dead, just home. And as you've gotten older, as your powers have grown, the home's gotten bigger too. I mean, it just used to be the kitchen. And now, I mean, your mother was very glad when we got the front room back.
Where is Mom?
Oh, she's just, finishing up some knitting in the front room.
Can I see her? Does she want to see me?
Of course. She'd love to. You can get up and head to the living room if you want.
Yeah.
Okay. You move down. Your dad is sort of still in the kitchen,
Mhm.
kind of eating. As you enter the living room, by the fire, in a nice comfy chair, you see your mum. Currently knitting, embroidering, sewing. They were all kind of hobbies of hers. Behind her, you see a cabinet full of essentially, there is your front room. There is the big sort of like open window leading onto the street, currently showing nothing but void. But there's a big armchair, comfiest armchair, that rocks ever so slightly. And in it is your mum, rocking, knitting. There's a big, biscuit tin open that has, bits of, wool and bits and bobs. And sort of behind your mum is this big cabinet full of curios. And there is a fireplace. And in the fireplace is a fire, but there's no wood or coal or gas, just fire. Warm, comforting, and smelling of home and your mother's magic.
Does she see me, or is she very focused on
Very focused
her?
on the knitting at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Bree takes a couple of steps forward, so she's in her eyesight, in her sight.
What's your dad's name?
Oh, I don't know. What's the typical sorcerer kind of names?
It can be anything really. It could be, it's people in London, so it's more what is typical people's names rather than
With a name like Bree, I feel like it needs to be. Actually, no. Maybe her parents will have very regular names like Brian and Irene.
Brian and Irene. As as you step in front, you just hear your mum going, Brian, for the last time, what have I told you about getting in my... Oh, well, hi baby, how are you? Come to see us then.
Hi, I'm. And then I think Bree's gonna start crying again.
She pats sort of next to the chair. There's one of those footrests that you can open up and put stuff inside. That you know is where your mum kind of keeps all of her sewing stuff that doesn't fit inside this biscuit tin. And she just pats the cushion next to her.
Bree sits down.
She still knitting. It's good to have you with us again. I was beginning to think you weren't going to come. You can see your mum, I think, is looking a little bit emotional as well. Not crying, but just kind of emotional.
He says, like, if I knew you were here, I would have tried to come sooner. I had no idea.
You weren't to know. We've been stuck. We've been stuck for a long time. But it's been nice knowing you're out there doing nice things, meeting nice people. Nice to see you with so many friends. Just missing kind of familiar, warm company, I think. Can you roll another insight check?
Finally, 18.
Okay. With an 18, fuck it, it's close enough. Sat this close to your mum, watching her knit, your eye is suddenly drawn to the knitting. And you notice that she appears to be repeating the same actions with her hands. Robotically repeating the same actions with her hands. And I think this close, there's just a moment where you kind of... I think, Free's been quite guilty about this since you've kind of come here. And I don't know how closely you've looked at your parents' faces. Because the faces look like your parents. But the eyes don't have the same spark of love and care that your parents would have. And I think you kind of get the vibe that maybe this isn't your mum.
Okay. Please be asked, like, what have you been doing this entire time?
Oh, we've been catching up on some reading, spending time with your father. It's a bit like retirement, really. And we've been sending you magic.
You've been doing that?
Of course. You don't have any magic. Don't you remember? I want you to make a charisma saving throw, please.
14.
Okay. Yeah, you didn't have any magic growing up. It's so hard when you know something that your character doesn't, isn't it?
Okay. Free asks, like, how have you been sending magic?
Well, after we left the mortal plane, we found ourselves trapped here, inside the lamp. And then we realised we could send you some of our magic to keep you safe. What would this be? I want you to tell me right now. I want you to make a check. You tell me what it's going to be and why, and we'll see.
Hmm.
The
A
minimum
check or a
DC
save?
is going to be a check. You tell me
Okay.
what the check is, what the skill you're going to use. The minimum DC is going to be a 15, but to really kind of get somewhere, I want you to roll a 20.
Okay. Oof. Because like the only plus. Oh,
So
I
any
have a
skill,
+5 in investigation. Can
you can roll an investigation check for sure.
okay. I do want to use investigation. But I want to have like an aim or action in mind.
Okay. You work that out. I'm just going to quickly nip to the loo.
Go for it.
While you work out what you're investigating.
Yeah.
Have you decided?
Um. Yeah. Because Free is unnerved, knowing that it's likely not her mum. She's going to use the investigation to try and figure out a way out or a way in of like how she got here. Does that work?
Are you looking for just like how you can get out of this?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, go for it. Roll away.
So fucking hell. It's an 8.
You cannot. You can't seem to find your way out of here. Like there is a way, obviously, for you to get in and out. But I think you're kind of a bit like, how do I, how do I, how do I move out of this place? But I think it's also a case of you're not maybe as like normally you feel in control of your magic, but it's almost like you're not in control here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Uh, your mum. Uh, just kind of keeps on explaining about, you never had magic growing up. And then I think she brings up the incident. She talks about, well, you know about our family history.
Mhm.
And as she does, you see that like two pieces of thread kind of like curl up and become like almost like little ragdoll people. You see them kind of like leading a little kind of like woolen kind of ragdoll like camel through like deserts, staying in tents. Um, and then you see them finding a lamp and summoning a genie.
Mhm.
And your mum's voice kind of just over this sort of like almost animation as her magic animates the thread. And he found the lamp. He made his wish. He wished to be rich all his days. You see the little kind of like wooden figures moving into what is now like the kind of expanding out to be like a kind of little city made of little wooden buildings. And then the roof kind of like unravels, and you see inside there's the wooden figure of what you assume to be your ancestor, absolutely just eating and eating and eating and overindulging until he dies. And he was rich for all his days. And then the family kept the lamp, but they remembered that there was a price to pay for wishes. And they did not use the lamp again until one day you see that the sort of woolen house of your family has gotten bigger and bigger as time has passed. And then you see a different wooden figure wielding a little toothpick staff, waving it, and parts of this wooden house being destroyed. And you hear your mum saying, until one night, one of his business enemies no longer wished for him to be in the city, and then your ancestor made a choice. He wished for power. You see the little wooden figure pick up a tiny little lamp, rub it, the genie appearing, but your kind of ancestor becoming powerful, but it being so powerful that the whole house is destroyed. And lots of wooden figures, including the one that attacked, but also ones that were staying in the house. His family also disappearing. And you see that he was kind of the first sorcerer of your family. You see the lamp being passed down, the magic being passed down. You see the magic growing to kind of adapt to the flavour of being in a city, becoming a magic of speed and people and trade and heat and never ending. You see the lamp being passed down to lots of wooden figures who all go on journeys further and further afield. And you see, I think that the lamp becomes like duller almost as it is not used. And then you see a larger wooden figure, large enough to have you make out their face. And it is doesn't look quite the same, but very similar to your grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see the wooden figure arrive in London. And then the wall lies still. Then you see that a little wooden figure that looks a lot like Free pick up the lamp, and again a house is destroyed. What are you doing?
Does Free still have the keychain on her?
Good question. You do not.
Okay. She turns to her mom and says, like, I didn't mean to do it. If you had told me the family history, I am sorry. I do mean that.
Oh, it's okay. You have nothing to apologize for. We'll always love you. I would like you to make...
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say... What would it be? At this point, I'm going to say roll an Arcana check first.
Okay. 19.
Okay. I will say right now, fuck it, roll a history check for me.
Oh, so that's just 10.
That's just enough. That together? Okay. You're kind of like, okay, I assume my parents are kind of in the keychain. That this was something to do with the wish I made. And then you're like, I mean, but like, genies only grant 3 wishes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I think you're like, well, okay, so it's granted its 3 wishes, so why is it like, you know, why do I still have the lamp? I would like you to just make an intelligence saving throw, please.
Okay, I thought that was a 1. There's a 7 plus 2, so it's a 9.
Okay. Something about what's going on here is off. You can't really explain what it is. Something doesn't feel right. And I think you then see kind of like with that Arcana check, it doesn't feel like someone else was giving you your magic. Is what I will say.
Hmm.
What do you want to do?
Okay, turn back to Mum and ask, where's everyone else in the family?
I think they're all upstairs. We can't go there yet, but if you get stronger, or if you want it, desire it, wish for it, I think we could get to them.
What do you mean, wish for it?
Oh, just a slip of the tongue. But if you really wanted to, you could help us get out.
How? You, I know you're here, but like, everything went up in flames. There's no body for you to return to.
That's all. We just need somewhere to go.
Where would you have to go? How would you be able to leave?
Oh, as long as we found a body that could contain our power, I'm sure we could leave. With your help, of course, darling.
Mm-hmm. What would you need me to do?
We can let you know when we find a body that would help, would work. And then you can just let us do the rest. I'm going to say this is weird enough that you can make a check to see if you can work out what the fuck's going on.
Okay.
You make a decision on what's the check. You can make it an intelligence kind of based check. You could make it like a history or like a sort of arcana or investigation check. Or you could do any other thing if you've got any other skills that you would kind of prefer to use.
Yeah. I think Arcana, because it's about magic and how to possibly use that.
Okay.
Let me see if this works. That was another 10.
Okay. I think for you, you don't really know enough to sort of understand. I mean, like it. I mean, if they are like here in spirit, then could work. You know, if they're not gone, you could like it's not unheard of to bring back kind of the spirit of something. It's only if something is completely gone that it's difficult to bring them back. And there are definitely like creatures of power, gods of the city, other things that would be able to, you know, assist you if that was what you wanted to do. If you made the right choices and earned the right favors. Can I have one last insight check with advantage?
Yep. It's 9.
9 was the highest.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
The first one was a nat 1.
Oh, okay. Your mum kind of looks up. Would you like to go back to your friends now?
Can you tell me how I got here first?
Oh, that's easy. You just came into the lamp. And with that kind of like, with your mom saying that, I think you kind of like instinctively feel how you could get in and get out of this. Like this is a choice you can make.
Mm-hmm.
So you have an action called bottled respite.
Yeah.
Under your actions, essentially it's this. So you can basically go in to your vessel for up to 6 hours per long rest.
Okay.
What would you like to do? Or is there anything you'd like to do before you kind of leave?
Oh yeah. How awesome? Ask mom, how strong do I need to be to be able to go upstairs to see the rest of the family?
Oh, I think you'll be able to do that fairly soon, if you want. If you desire it. One last insight check. Come on, big money.
Oh, let's see. You jinxed it. It was a 1.
Quality. I'm loving this, by the way. I planned like several ways this could turn out, and this is making me so happy right now. As that happens, I want you to make a charisma saving throw.
Twelve.
Just as you're about to kind of move on and do what you want, you just feel your mum reach out and slowly put her hand on top of yours. And she says, "You are going to help us, aren't you?" And without the rest of you getting involved, you feel your head begin to nod as your mum pulls a piece of paper out and slides it in front of you. You just need to sign this and then find the right hosts. You get one more charisma save. You need to beat a 15.
It's an 11.
You sign the piece of paper. As you lift your hand over the piece of paper, a tiny cut opens on your finger, and without the rest of your body getting involved, you feel your finger sign your name. Your mother smiles at you in a way which is extremely alien. And then you are back in the place that you left. You are out of your childhood home. And you gain a level in Warlock.
Oh, yeah.
As you have signed a contract.
Gosh.
Okay, cool. That was
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was fun.
That was nice. I've been waiting to